What up, world? Established Rich coming right back at you. Tony Yayo praised 50 Cent for taking care of his people. Memphis Bleek took it as a shot to JayZ. And now Uncle Murda wants to turn a hip-hop argument into a whole financial audit.
Paying your bills, cuz. That's what it is. They compete. That's why they talk like that. If 50 said 1 year, these in a shelter, they shouldn't be allowed to talk about us or anybody. When you literally are a dependent. Like, that's insane to me, man. Like, they never wear their jewelry without their boss. Show me a picture of Yayo walking around with his chain, the passport chain, without 50 Cent there. I gotta see it. But they taking care of we take care of ourselves.
I think I heard Yayo say that you and which is crazy. He said you and Jay's friendship is just was more business. I've never seen it.
Well, him and 50 friendship is just financial.
Memphis Bleek did not just defend JayZ. He questioned whether Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda could survive without 50 Cent. Bleek's point is that JayZ don't have to financially carry his people because he turned them all into bosses. That is a fair way to defend JayZ. But saying Yayo and Murda would be broke or living in a shelter without 50, that took it too far. Now we're not talking about different styles of loyalty. Now we're talking about another man's ability to provide for himself and his family. And that is always going to become personal. Tony Yayo's original point was simple. He believes 50 continues to create opportunities for the people he came up with. But Yayo also caused this problem when he used JayZ as a comparison. You cannot praise 50 by questioning how JayZ treats his people and expect Memphis Bleek to hear that as neutral. Bleek has spent most of his career defending his relationship with JayZ. So Yayo touched the same nerve in Bleek that Bleek eventually touched in Uncle Murda. That is the irony of this entire situation. Everybody is defending their loyalty while insulting somebody else's.
Oh, Yayo don't wear the passport chain when 50's not around. Why are we talking about
Somebody said
chains?
Somebody
That's
said
all I'm saying. I don't see y'all got plenty of money. Y'all buy cars and watches like rich people do. Ain't really talking about chains. Yo, you don't have the passport chain.
Somebody said that.
Because what it was is Yayo came back from the dead. Yayo got a second win and can't stand it. Sometimes it could be a that's around me that can't stand it. Yayo got a second win on his own without 50. I went on Vlad. Yo, you bugging. I went on $1 Million a Game. That took me there. I went on Shannon Sharp. I went on all these big platforms by myself and sold my personality just like y'all do. But you're going to continue to hate. You had your one day on stage with Jay, which is cool. Feel good.
What you mean, elaborate? What you mean, what day on stage?
It was one day on stage with Jay. It's cool. So I know you're going to feel good about yourself, want to pump out your chest, then you want to sell a record.
What you mean, when Jay just performed?
Yeah, when Jay just performed.
Oh,
he had one day out. You know, we do that with 50 every other week. Blew a couple of shots at him. He might feel like, oh, why this saying that? What businesses you have? This is my business right here. Unit dispensary.
Tony Yayo looked more entertained than offended. Yayo has heard this same argument for years. People have been calling him 50 Cent sidekick. They have acted like his loyalty means he can't function on his own. At this point, Yayo seems comfortable with the fact that his name will always be attached to 50. He don't run away from the opportunities that relationship created. And he shouldn't have to. If your friend can put you on a world tour and make sure you get paid, turning that down to prove something to the internet is stupid. Support does not automatically mean dependence. The real question is whether you use that support to build something of your own. Yayo has been part of one of the biggest rap groups of this era, and he has continued to work long after most artists from that era disappeared. That don't mean 50 Cent had nothing to do with his success. It means both things can be true. 50 helped him, and Yayo is still maintaining his own life. That's why he could laugh at Bleek's comments. But Uncle Murda, he ain't find nothing funny about it.
It's between Queens and Nassau. We deliver. We've been open for a while now. Shout to Murda. We have our own businesses. We doing our own thing. Be surprised.
I'm gonna say this.
I just don't gotta make announcements because I know
he said
glazing. And the glazing award goes to Memphis Bleek. And then look, you on Black Effect, so I know Charlamagne is gonna be like, yo, so what about Yayo? Of course, you gonna click phone. It's cool. It's not a problem. I like when they talk about me. I know I'm doing something right.
Oh,
that's it.
No, because one of the things I did see that he said was that, you know, Jay don't gotta take care of him. You know,
But nobody's taking care of me.
But hold on, let me finish.
That's where you're getting it wrong. I don't pay my
Hold on,
bills.
let
Don't pay my taxes. My first house is support of my album.
Get his point out. Go ahead. What you
He
say,
said he said something pertaining to you two murder about if
He said something about me.
if
I ain't hear this.
Oh, you did? Oh,
I ain't know he said something about me. You talking about me?
No, maybe it wasn't you.
Oh, okay.
If 50 stopped for a year, it'll be over.
I would be in a trap. What is you talking about? If I can't, I'm still a street. I'm not on JayZ, Nas, and them level. It's cool. I was making money before, like, be like, yo, was a pack pumper. No, I was getting money on 134 and God Brewer.
Let me say this.
You
Let me
can
say this.
ask.
Let me say this. Let me just say this, Murda.
Now, hold on, let me
you
say.
crazy?
Hold on.
I gotta stop
I know. Like, as far as we got a successful weed dispensary business, and I know Bleek said he got a restaurant. I don't mind. We can do this too. We could go. Let's see what you made last month, and we can show what we made last month, and we could continue to do month for month to see who's making more money as far as that business is concerned. We could go business for business as far as that, right? And we could go Bitcoin for Bitcoin because I got a bunch of those too. So as far as me being back in the hood,
go house for house.
that would never happen. And we could show houses too. I got a pool. We could show who houses flyer and all type. We could do that. We could go Bitcoin for Bitcoin. Hold on.
Go ahead,
We could go
keep going.
Bitcoin for Bitcoin. We could do this, and not to mention we got a nice check from Valium to even do this podcast, right? We getting paid like real good money
Shout
to
to
do this
Valium.
podcast. And on top of that,
Fastest
right?
growing
And on
podcast
top
in
of that, I heard
Valium.
him talk about he put out because I didn't know he was talking about me. Like I'm surprised. Bleek, we both from Brooklyn. I'm surprised.
Giddy saw Uncle Murda getting hot, and he kept turning the temperature up. That's what Giddy does. He finds the soft spot in the conversation and keeps pressing until somebody forgets the cameras are rolling. Uncle Murda sounded like he wanted Memphis Bleek's bank account displayed on the screen. That difference in their reactions tells the whole story. Yayo has already made peace with people calling him a dependent. Uncle Murda clearly has not.
I'm surprised.
I'm gonna retract that.
I'm surprised. But no, hold
I
on,
just
hold on.
thought he
But-
said
but
if
I'm surprised. He was talking about me like. But on top of that, shout out to Gazi and Nima. That's Empire. I just did a deal with them for 7 figures with my music. So I get paid to put out music as well. So as far as I got to deal with Empire, I get paid to put out music, right? My dispensary is doing great. Shout out to my West, the whole indoor, the unit dispo, right? We getting podcast money as well. And a whole lot of money with 50. It's great to perform with 50.
all over the world.
All over the world. It's great to perform with 50 all over the world. Perform with 50 probably at least 10 to 12 times out the month. That's what you call a bag. It's hustling. I don't depend on 50, but money with 50. And I salute that and I appreciate that like a motherfucker. And 50 creates other opportunities to get money. That's how it was easy to get the dispo and things of that like that. So it's a blessing to 50. But it's not depending on 50 to get no money. Like, what the f***? It's crazy.
Hustling.
And
ain't
Bleek,
gonna get-
hold up, man.
A nigga gonna give you nothing anyway.
Hold up, man. The only Bleek verse I ever like is the one that JayZ wrote. The only Bleek verse I ever like is the one that JayZ wrote.
When Bleek said he would be in a shelter without 50, Murda heard an attack on his manhood, his business, and his ability to take care of his family. I understand why he wanted to correct that narrative. Your children can hear those comments. The mothers of your children can hear them. Business partners who don't know the truth can hear those comments. So Murda started listing his Empire deal, his dispensary, his podcast, and his performance money. There is nothing wrong with saying you have other sources of income. There is also nothing wrong with admitting that being close to 50 Cent helped make some of those deals possible. That's what a smart partnership is supposed to do. You use the platform to build something that belongs to you. The problem is, Uncle Murda didn't stop at correcting the record. He started challenging Bleek to compare bank statements, businesses, houses, and Bitcoin. That is where the conversation became a shit show.
I ain't never like a Bleek verse that he wrote by himself. Out here.
All right.
Niggas no Memphis Bleek fans like that neither.
All right, yo, look.
But surprised you talked about
All
me,
right,
Bleek.
now look. I ain't gonna listen.
You said he said something about
Wallo,
me.
don't worry.
I ain't with it.
I said,
I ain't
he
with
said, if
Back in the hood is
Hold on. Talking about me more, right? So,
Back to that shit.
right? What are you starting like?
No, I'm just saying back to that. I'm dead serious.
You on
back to
100
that
right now.
Yeah, I am. I'm on 1,000.
Yo, look.
Lear Jet Lenny.
I'm on
Yeah.
1,000,
You
nigga.
talking about
Yo,
Lear
We
Jet
get
Lenny,
Bitcoin for
nigga.
But
Bitcoin,
look.
bank account for bank account, and business statements for business statements.
look.
And we can do it next week.
Yo, look.
And let's check the transactions. You know how you can scratch it out so nobody wire nobody nothing. Let's see how much money really got. And check the safe. Because we got the safe money too. I got a safe in the crib. And I just took my kids' first class flights on Disney. We was in Disney World. I do with the kids.
Now,
You heard? It was me and 2 of the homies and 13 kids. We do with the kids.
Uncle Murda was not on 100. He was on 1,000. And when a person has to name every business, every detail, and every way they make their money, that comment hit something deeper than rap. Murda wanted the world to know that he was not simply eating off 50 Cent's plate. I respect him for wanting to defend himself, but once he started attacking Memphis Bleek's entire rap career, you could tell his emotions had took over. He said the only Bleek verse he ever liked is the one JayZ wrote. Now we have moved from financial independence to trying to erase somebody's artistic legacy. That's what happens when pride takes control of the conversation. All 3 of these men are too old and too accomplished to act like their value can be settled by opening a banking app. Tony Yayo is part of the GUnit history. Memphis Bleek is part of the Roc-A-Fella history. Uncle Murda has survived label changes, industry politics, and multiple generations of rap. None of them should need to prove their manhood by showing the internet a direct deposit. And publicly comparing bank statements is not even a small way to prove who's doing better. It don't show debt. It don't show tax obligations. It does not show who actually owns the businesses being discussed. All it does is invite strangers into your personal business. The IRS don't need a front row seat to a hip hop podcast. The bigger issue is that hip hop still don't know how to discuss loyalty without turning it into an insult. When 50 Cent keeps his people working, some people say he's carrying them. When JayZ expects his people to build for themselves, some people say he abandoned them. Maybe those are just 2 different ways of helping your friends. One person always makes sure you have a seat at the table. Another person expects you to use the access he gave you to build your own table. Neither approach is automatically wrong. The people inside those relationships are the only ones who really know what was promised. So I'm gonna take y'all out like this. Tony Yayo opened the door when he used JayZ as a comparison to 50 Cent. Memphis Bleek took it too far by saying Uncle Murda and Tony Yayo would be homeless without 50 Cent. Yayo laughed because he's been hearing that his whole career. Uncle Murda exploded because that narrative clearly bothers him. I understand why he defended his name, but you do not prove you are independent by begging another man to look at your pockets. You prove it by handling your business. All 3 of these men have legacies. All 3 have survived an industry that normally throws people away after a few years. They should be discussing ownership, longevity, and how to help the next generation. Instead, they are arguing about which rich friend takes better care of them. That ain't no boss conversation. That is a fair debate about loyalty turning into a public pocket watching contest. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe. Establish Rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.